Car chases are dangerous and unpredictable. Viewer discretion advised.
Breaking news now, Sky 9 is over a pursuit in South El Monte.
KCAL 9's Stu Mundella is live over the pursuit right now. Stu, going right through an intersection there.
Well, Elsa Juan, you know what? He is on Rush Street in South El Monte, properly a named street for this pursuit. This vehicle driving extremely high speeds, was on the freeways, been on surface streets for a while. And one thing we're missing in this pursuit right here is going to be officers in pursuit. You do see that light overhead. That's not from Sky 9. That's from a sheriff's helicopter that's been following this vehicle. Started out on the freeway, extremely high speeds, 605 freeway, and it was making his way south. California Highway Patrol was in pursuit, but they decided because of the extremely high speeds that they would back down. So they backed off, they dropped out, but the helicopter, the sheriff's helicopter that was coming to assist, saw the vehicle, turned on its light, and has been following it ever since. Since that helicopter's been lighting up this path for this vehicle, it's been turning on its lights, turning off its lights, driving on the wrong side of the road. We did see some dangerous maneuvers moments ago, got some pedestrians in the roadway out there, coming up on a major, going across a major right here. We'll get you some streets here in just a second. We're in South El Monte. Looks like this is a major northbound street here. We'll get you a street as soon as we can, but you can see this vehicle really moving out, good speeds out here. And it's just been driving very, very high speeds, but right now seeming to slow down as we're working our way into an area where there's more people. We're eastbound on Elliott now. Southbound El Monte is where we're at still. Sheriff's Department is one that's chasing this guy. The original want was speed. All this guy needs to do is come to a stop and probably right now wait for the Sheriff's Department. Sheriff's Department, I'm looking out the window right now, running stop signs. You might not be able to get the feel for how fast that vehicle is going, but when you see it bounce over those intersections like that, you know that this vehicle is moving pretty quick. Another stop sign right there, blew right through it, didn't even see some brake lights. Now we're seeing a couple brake lights coming up on another major street out here. Again, look at that. That was a green, but look at how fast this guy is moving, and he's going through residential neighborhoods right now. Juan, Elsa.
All right, so Stu, it looks like right now, is this officially a pursuit? Are we still in following mode? I know you said the CHP was in pursuit at one point, backed off because the speeds were too intense, too high.
Wow, look at
Whoa,
that.
went right through an intersection, narrowly missing cars.
Yeah.
Are they deeming this a pursuit again? Have you heard?
You know, we haven't heard that word. We are in pursuit. Right now, I understand that this would be more of just a following. The sheriff's airship just kind of keeping an eye on this vehicle. He is calling out streets. There is no doubt about that. He is notifying officers on the ground about his location. This is definitely the sheriff's area. That is a sheriff's helicopter overhead. Excuse me, we're in South El Monte. South El Monte has their own PD. But he is definitely calling out the streets there. The officers are aware of the situation, making his way right underneath us right now. These speeds are continually about 60 miles an hour and above is what they've been calling these out at. This is a residential neighborhood coming back out to a major. I believe this is going to be Mountain View once again. We did see some narrow calls earlier on as this vehicle basically running most of these red lights, most of these stop signs, and getting extremely close to other vehicles that are obeying the law right there. Right there you see one of the officers that's in the area right now. Unclear if they're going to reinitiate that pursuit that we so usually see, where the officers are right behind them, reds and blues. There's another officer, another black and white vehicle just passed in the other direction. So they are here. They are watching where this guy is going. They're in the area. So if this vehicle does come to a stop and this guy runs, and again, just assuming it's a male and just assuming there's one person in the vehicle, they will be in the area and they'll be able to go ahead and take this guy down. I understand that they are initiating a pursuit again right there. You can see the reds and blues. I don't know if that's going to be the Sheriff's Department or South El Monte PD, because we are in the El Monte area. Again, though, this vehicle now is officially being pursued by PD as we're working our way through neighborhoods out there, very tight streets, extremely high speeds.
All right, Stu, again, we're keeping an eye on this pursuit. It looks like it is now a pursuit. The lights are on the law enforcement patrol car behind the car right now. We just don't know what agency that is right now. Immediately, we'll work on getting that. But, Stu, can you tell, he's going through residential areas. Can you tell what speeds he's going at now through some of these slimmer residential streets?
he is continuing his speeds about 60 miles an hour. They've got cross traffic coming up in an intersection right there. Red light. There you go, making that turn. That is the Sheriff's Department. Sheriff's Department is chasing this suspect right now, and we're going northbound. Tyler is the street we're right now on, and making another turn onto another smaller street, eastbound Elliott. This is going to be in the El Monte area for sure. We're established in the El Monte area. Sheriff's Department in pursuit now. You can see that one unit there kind of falling a little bit farther behind, probably because that officer's not going to take these risks that this guy has been taking. Another red light with cross traffic, but he decided to make a right turn. We got to get a first look kind of in the front of that vehicle right now, trying to make out if there's more than one person inside that vehicle. There's a possibility every now and then. It does seem that there may be nope, there's just one person in that car, just the driver that we see. There could be somebody in the back seat, but there's only one person in that front seat. That this vehicle kind of starting to do that thing that we see, making these blocks in these neighborhoods. I don't know if he's familiar with this neighborhood. He does seem to be slowing down. There seems to be some people outside. Officers right behind him now. Just gave him a minute or two to slow down, and that sheriff cruiser right behind him, just a second or two, got up right behind him. Not sure if they're going to use that pit maneuver, especially with these high speeds and those tight streets. Just made another turn right there, and we're hearing that perhaps he was making some gestures or talking or yelling out the window at somebody at that apartment building. Dropped something out the window as he passed there. Just getting a little bit wider because there's other cars coming the other direction. We're hearing that as well. This pursuit, crazy this evening. Original want was just speed. This vehicle not slowing down. Sheriff's Department really want this guy to stop. It's South El Monte area, extremely dangerous to anybody who may be out on the streets tonight in this area.
Well, Stu, you've been above this pursuit now for quite a bit. At first, it looks like he was making quite a bit of right-handed turns, now making quite a bit of left-handed turns. Is he just going around in circles in this area in South El Monte?
We are staying. Look at the traffic. Look at this traffic right there. And now he's on the wrong side of the road. He has been staying in the general area. He's not just staying in the same blocks and stuff. That's the area where he dropped something out just moments ago. You can see people outside there, people yelling at him right there. Number of people out on the streets out here this evening. Not sure if they know about the pursuit or they just happen to be outside right now. But this vehicle definitely showboating as he's coming by this area, slowing down. Look at the number of people out here in this area. Extremely dangerous for officers, extremely dangerous for that suspect. You driving high speeds out here with that number of people out on the streets. Saw that shoves, helicopters, cross traffic, another red light, decided to make a right turn, but you saw him going wrong side of the road, passing all these people. I'm looking out the window. The Sheriff's Department is still behind him. They are not running that code 3. There's lights and sirens are now off. Got people on bicycles out here. Very busy, a lot of traffic, a lot of pedestrian traffic out here as this car continues to make these crazy turns and driving high speeds on these very narrow residential streets.
Well, I was about to say at least there's not a lot of traffic out on the roadways there on some of the main drags he seems to be turning on in El Monte, but clearly, this pursuit and maybe the broadcast of it has brought a lot of people out to watch this guy continue making circles and go through the streets of El Monte. We've seen it before in other pursuits where they hear about it on the radio, see it on TV, and they come out and they either try to communicate with the person who's in a pursuit or whatever it is they're trying to do, or just watch it. But that looks like the case we have here, and this is not a safe situation for them. This person could lose control of their car. This pursuit could end badly with a crash, and if there are people lining the sidewalks and the streets where this guy or this person is driving, it could end badly here.
And again, this is a pursuit that started, this driver wanted for high speeds, and now, of course, he is going at very high speeds of up to 60 miles an hour through residential neighborhoods. And you can see there, Elsa, how he slows down when he sees groups of people or people on the sidewalk, whether to communicate or to figure out if they know them or not. But looks like he has a cell phone in his hands, too. You can see the light from the phone. I'm
not sure what he's doing with it, taking pictures or recording, even recording his own pursuit, which is a possibility. But again, not a lot of this makes sense to begin with. So that may be what he or she is doing there behind the wheel.
Stu, where are we right now?
We are still in that same South El Monte area. we keep talking about Elliott. That's one of the main streets right there, and he keeps going by that same area where we saw those apartment buildings with those number of peoples out there, lawn chairs out in front of the apartment building. So I think those people were outside before this pursuit started. Right now, they are talking. There is discussion about these high speeds at narrowed streets and exactly the want for this person, and they're doing that. We're hearing, we're kind of, listening in a little bit. They are discussing public safety, and again, they're wondering if maybe perhaps it would just bringing it to an end, or maybe forcefully bringing it to an end. These are the complicated decisions that law enforcement have to make, basically on their feet. They have to make these decisions in a second, and these decisions will or could affect many people. The sheriff's ship overhead, talking to those guys on the ground down there, they don't know. Originally the want was just speed. This guy has been doing extremely dangerous maneuvers out here. You saw another one right there when we were talking about it, right on cue. And that's the thing. Do they just stop? Do they walk away? Well, if they do, and this guy gets into an accident, well, then they're liable for that. It's a very, very complicated situation. And there's been a lot of discussion about pursuits in the Los Angeles area. What do you do? Do you chase him? Do you not chase him? Are we giving this guy fame? We're not giving him any fame. We're watching this guy. We're watching what he's doing along with the sheriff's department. And, he is endangering himself. He's endangering others. Again, he's turning back onto that same street again where we've seen those apartment complexes. And it does seem that this area is very friendly to him, doing those air quotes right now, slowing down. You can see people talking to him, and it unclear what his plan is. Maybe he's trying to make some sort of arrangement where he can dump the car, run inside an apartment building. The sheriff's ship is overhead. You can see officers right there. That officer right there, spike strip. That's what he just used. And maybe he got it. It sounds like there's a possibility he took out a couple of his, or at least one of the tires. As we know from the past, those spike strips are basically, think of a nail that's hollow. It just kind of goes into the tire, breaks off, and the air is slowly released from that tire. The car seems to be some sort of, I'm not sure, maybe a Lexus, maybe a Nissan, but it doesn't have any plates on it. Also makes it very difficult for the officers to find out where this vehicle is registered at. You can see officers from the sheriff's department out here in force, basically keeping the public safe, but this guy is still driving very recklessly.
Okay, Stu, so we are hearing that the spike strip was able to make contact. Is that what you're hearing there?
We hear it's a good possibility. That's the word, but by now we should be seeing something. And
right.
This vehicle's still trying to drive those speeds, so I'm wondering if it was able to pull that off or not. Again, maybe perhaps this vehicle has tires that are make that flat tire not as damaging to the vehicle. It is very dark down there, but perhaps that driver's side tire might be going a little bit lower right now. Just kind of seems that way. This guy driving the wrong side of the road and making these blocks out here. Elliott is one of the streets. I want to get you the street he's on right now. And again, the same officer in that same position might have something planned for that car again, seeing how he's making these blocks in this area. But you can see traffic out here right now, just circling that same block. Sheriff's Department wants this to come to an end, and as all of us do, without any incident. But this vehicle continues to just do what it's doing out here, trying to push its way through traffic right now. Again, you can see the number of people out here. Sheriff's Department helicopter following him. If he does jump out and run, they'll have an idea where he is. But look at the number of people, and this guy there yelling at him. Unclear. It almost looks like the guy saying, "Hey, slow down, just stop." But he continues to just keep on going out here. There's Sheriff's Department's coming up in just another moment. They've got the intersection blocked, probably because they're tired of him making these blocks, and they're trying to protect the public.
Yeah, the people who are standing out there, it's hard to tell. It's so dark to see if any of those tires are disabled. Perhaps that looks like they just tried to deploy a spike strip again. Is it possible, Stu? I'm not sure how run flat tires respond to spike strips, but it may be a possibility that this car is equipped with those run flats. I don't know if they would last forever
Especially
or for a very long time.
Newer model too.
Right,
yeah.
but I don't know how long they would last if they are run flats. If he did make contact with the spike strip, but you just saw the police try to make a second contact, and it looks like Yes,
there's the spike strip again.
There's the video that just happened seconds ago where they try to snare him again with the spike strip, and he's continuing on. So maybe they didn't make contact, or maybe he has those run flat tires that are going to buy him a little bit of extra time. We don't know.
There goes the tire. There goes the tire.
Oh, you did? Okay, you saw a tire.
He definitely lost that front tire, that front driver's side. Spike strip's very complicated to deploy. They made it. They tried to make it as simple as possible. But that shot that we saw there with that spike strip, and it kind of got tangled in the front of the car, laying on its side, might not be that effective. It does seem like he has lost at least his front driver's side tire.
Oh, yeah.
We did see something roll off the car a moment ago. I believe it was most of the rubber from that tire. It seems like the rear might be going flat as well. He is slowing down quite a bit, but straddling that center line, I don't know what the strategy on that is. But the vehicle definitely slowing down right now, and we can clearly see front driver's side flat, rear driver's side is flat as well. Making that same turn again, hugging that curb, going on the wrong side of the road. People outside here this evening, they definitely are having a show. That's for sure. Sheriff's Department out here, they're not so interested in this show. They just want to bring this thing to an end. Back on that same street again out here, you can see the number of people out here. It looks like a picnic was going on in front of one of these apartment complexes, and it continues to roll on out here. Also, something just came across my mind. Isn't tonight the National Neighborhood Awareness or something night?
It's the National Night Out. It's the first Tuesday of every August that happens every year for law enforcement and communities all over the country to have meet and greets and community events and barbecues and all those types of events to have neighbors meet each other, meet their local law enforcement. But yes, that's what tonight is.
Well,
look at that. Now he's backing up.
Well, perhaps that's backing up in a very dangerous move. If there's officers behind him, we've seen that in the past. Again, this person running from officers, you don't know their mental state. You don't know what they're thinking. And if he does threaten an officer, officers will respond with force. And that vehicle, definitely a deadly weapon. And if he backs up with any kind of speed, it looks like they're going to try to box him in right there. Again, they just kind of, they're doing that passive aggressive. They're making themselves shown and known out here, but not going to box him in, not going to bring him into that type of situation where that would kind of force them to do something that might be dangerous for the officers. So they tend not to do that. This vehicle definitely seems to be more than disabled. Two tires are flat. The passenger side does seem to be a little bit better. You do see him inside there fiddling around a little bit, unclear what he's doing. Maybe it looks like he's grabbing some fast food off the passenger side there. Again, though, might be his last meal out for a while. But again, you can see the vehicle driving a little bit slower out here. Red lights, which is good that he's going slower. Now this vehicle a little bit disabled, unable to make those quick, sharp turns. It does seem to be a Lexus, a bigger Lexus. And again, right now, super slow as we're working our way down here. I'm going to go a little bit wider, give you an idea of the number of the sheriff's officers that are behind him right now. Unclear at these slow speeds. They might try to pit him, might try to bring this to an end. They're probably just going to let him ride a little bit longer, and hopefully maybe the car gives out, or maybe this guy just says, you know what, enough is enough, I'm just going to pull over.
And as anybody knows who's had a flat tire, once you're on the rim of that car, it is very loud. The car rumbles quite a bit, and it's not a pleasant experience. So that's what he's going through right now. Yep. Which could account for the reason that he's slowed down quite a bit.
Yeah, he really doesn't have a choice, and it looks like we're getting some
glowing.
Yep, we could see that
glowing right there in that front is that glowing. That's his brakes right now. There might be some sort of damage to the vehicle. You can see that glowing red. That is superheated metal. That is his disc brakes right there glowing. So this vehicle definitely having more than just trouble with the no wheels. Also might be a front-wheel drive vehicle, so there's no traction involved here. But again, this vehicle starting to show some signs from those spike strips. This is great to see. This might be coming to an end. Going very, very slow out here. Sheriff's Department still right behind him. They're ready to meet this guy, do that neighborhood meet right now. As soon as this guy comes to an end, you can see another vehicle there driving the opposite direction. But Sheriff's Department right now, they're going to try to get this thing to stop. Hopefully it's going to stop on its own, running another red light, but at these slow speeds, he seems to be pretty okay. Again, though, this vehicle just kind of slowing down here. Might be just running out of steam. It might be coming to an end very shortly.
Making another loop there off of Elliott, continuing continuing on his same circles in the same neighborhood that he's been circling for a while now in El Monte. At least with the disabling of the car, they have taken speed out as a dangerous factor here, but there are still many other dangerous factors involved in a pursuit. You don't know what you're dealing with a person who's running from the police in a pursuit. But at least that part is taken care of. And Stu, we've seen other slow speed chases where the police don't perform the pit maneuver. They just follow closely behind like they're doing right now. What's the strategy behind that? Is it purely just to protect the officers because they don't know what they're dealing with?
Well, you know, the pit maneuver is just to bring the pursuit to an end. That's basically what they plan on doing. Officers have to be trained for that, thoroughly trained for that. The street that he's always turning on, they seem to try to block him in. Now they're definitely blocking him in, and this gives the opportunity to stop him, but still kind of moving on right there. You can see the crowd kind of cheering him on. These officers getting a little bit more aggressive in their moves with their vehicles. They want this to come to an end very quickly, and they also, you know, again, you don't want to have any kind of problems. You did see that car move kind of quickly when it needed to. That's an interesting thing to see. So maybe this guy really not pushing that vehicle as hard as it could be as they were just rolling along out here. Sheriffs are out here in numbers right now. You have so many squad cars out here, and they're basically just kind of corralling this guy and also trying to keep the public safe and the public away from this vehicle. It's, again, a very slow-moving pursuit now. We're on on another street. Oh, sorry, I just had the street. And again, we're just moving along out here, going away from that neighborhood that he's been making those blocks in. So hopefully we're going to see something different here in a moment or two. But at these slow speeds, this would be the opportunity for the sheriff's either to block him in or just pit that car. It's really up to those officers that are on the ground down there and what they're trained for.
And Stu, obviously very different right now than what we saw earlier when the car was going 60 miles an hour, making erratic turns and going through stop signs and traffic lights. Right now, this is going very slow. The car is disabled. Obviously, it went from a following to a pursuit. Deputies here definitely have the upper hand. Their cars are in very good shape. This car is disabled, and it's just basically a waiting game to see when he's going to either be boxed in or he's going to simply pull over and give up.
You know, and you know, the thing about this is the original want, we don't know what this person inside the vehicle it may be wanted for, or who this person is, but the original want, speed, that's all they wanted him for. He could have just got pulled over, maybe just gotten a ticket and been on his way. Now it's a lot more complicated than that, that's for sure. Temple sheriffs are the ones that are in pursuit, very slow speed pursuit right now. They're kind of giving him a little bit of space right now. And you know, they're just moving along out here very, very slowly. Perhaps they're trying to lure him into the idea that maybe he can jump out of that vehicle. That would be great, because that would give the officers the opportunity to rush up on him and take him into custody. Moving very, very slow. You see the door open here. I'm taking a look down there. I don't see any of those black and whites really starting to move, but it looks like the door is closing again as he's making a turn. So, and eastbound Elliott, this is a street that he's been on making those blocks on, but we're a couple of blocks away from where he's been before. But we're back on Elliott. That's the street that we keep hearing this evening. This slow speed pursuit. The officers now starting to make their moves, trying to get a little bit closer to this guy, but very, very slow at this time, and this vehicle is pretty much probably starting to give it up.
Okay, Stu, Susie Suh is alongside me now here, continuing to follow this pursuit in El Monte that is coming to a very slow end. And it looks like, I'm not sure if you can see that, Susie, you can see people running alongside, either trying to communicate, talk to this person, cheer them on, whatever the reason they're out there. They're out there, but this is just not coming to an end. It's a slow and painful end.
That's right. This has been going on since the 9:30 hour. You're now watching KCAL 9 News at 10. Breaking news again. This is a neighborhood pursuit that's been kind of circling the area of South El Monte. And this driver, as Stu mentioned, has been on this main stretch of road, Elliott, for quite some time now and has been kind of circling around and going the same way again and again. And as Elsa was mentioning, many many people out there tonight in the neighborhood watching this all unfold, talking to the driver of this vehicle sometimes, as we saw earlier. And the reason why this driver is going slower now is because earlier when we saw him going at higher rates of speed, like 60 miles per hour on the residential streets, which is very, very scary to look at.
Run inside an apartment building.
Spike strips.
The sheriff's ship.
Okay, let's go up to Stu Mundell right now. Looks like he has an update for us. Stu, do you know anything?
Oh, Susie, what I know is that you really said it. This has been tedious, especially here at the end. Super slow moving pursuit out here. The vehicles that are behind him right now, unclear if these are people that are just trying to drive on the street. I have no idea really what's going on. You got a number of vehicles following right behind him. I'm trying to push it. No, and the sheriff's department nearby, but not behind him anymore. This vehicle basically just driving very, very slow. They did take out 2 tires on there, and look at that! Whoop, whoop, whoop! Oh! Almost collided with a vehicle. That's probably one of the closest ones we've seen tonight. He's been doing speeds of up to 80 miles an hour. Been on the wrong side of the road at one time. That was probably the closest we've seen him get to a vehicle on his very slow moving as he ran a red light down there. Very slow moving as we're moving through residential neighborhoods. I believe we are in the South El Monte area. The sheriff's department are the ones that are behind him. They are the ones that are above him. They are still in the area, and basically it's a waiting game right now. They're not going to force this to come to an end. They're just going to let this guy do whatever he needs to do, at least for now, and then hopefully that either he's going to make the decision or the car might make the decision for him. We saw that front wheel glowing red. Don't know what was going on there, but there seems to be a problem with the front part of the vehicle. They have 2 flat tires right now. That's going to be a problem for sure. Driving on the wrong side of the road, extremely slow. Original want was speed on the freeway. All he needed to do was pull over. Now it's an entirely different ball game, and this very slow pursuit continues to wind its way through very residential neighborhoods out here in the South El Monte area.
Well, we've watched the agencies who are on this, the LA County Sheriffs, at one point CHP, also deploy those spike strips, and they made contact, and this guy continues to keep going. At one point, we even saw, Stu, remember what looked like a cell phone, and it looked as though he was aiming it towards the sky at all of the activity and everything going on surrounding him. So he may be documenting this at the same time he's actually on the run and engaging the sheriff's office and other agencies in this pursuit right now.
He might be. That's social media is a huge thing in our world right now. He could be doing something like that. He might even be doing something a little bit more mischievous, like maybe trying to make a plan to try to get himself out of this. I don't know if you saw it earlier on as he drove by. People were actually throwing bottles at the car. It looked like a water bottle hit the top of the vehicle right there. As we continue to work our way, I believe we're on Elliott. Extremely slow moving. This road actually will come to an end up here pretty soon. He's going to have to make a right or left turn. It does come to a dead end. But, again, just moving very, very, very slowly. And he just keeps kind of doing this weird movement inside the car. He had the door open there a few minutes ago, looking at that front wheel. Again, just moving along. You see people just kind of standing there. Probably at this point, we are so far from anywhere. There they are. They're the officers. I was going to say the officers aren't behind them. They probably don't know. Looks like we're just turning off of Elliott here. Looks like we're in a mobile home area. Again, just moving very, very slowly. Does seem to know the area. Perhaps he knows this area as well. But now in a mobile home park, just kind of moving along very, very slowly, trying to get a look ahead out the window, seeing if maybe that there's a dead end. They're doing the same thing. They're just asking the same thing. The sheriff's department saying, is there a dead end? Or is this no way out? But again, just kind of moving along very, very slowly. You see some more people outside out here. But maybe this will be coming to an end here very shortly.
Okay, Stu, we've just been told this mobile home park is butted up against the San Gabriel River, and if he continues in the direction he's going, he's not going to be able to find his way out.
Yeah, and him going this slow, this is such a different picture from what we saw earlier this evening. Even just 30 minutes ago, he was going very fast at high rates of speed, as Stu mentioned, as high as 80 miles per hour on the residential streets, where we see neighbors coming out and taking pictures and looking at the this pursuit as it passes them by. And this is a really different picture now. I mean, we saw earlier the driver making some very dangerous maneuvers, such as running red lights, blowing through stop signs, intersections, narrowly missing cars, going very fast in the residential areas and driving on the wrong side of the road. And we saw him come very close to even cars. And now it looks like we can't see much activity going on aside from this slow-moving car and the patrol vehicles following closely behind him.
You know, these patrol vehicles getting very clever on what they're doing out here. You see that other patrol vehicle coming to a stop there, but there are other roads where he can turn. You can see these sheriffs right there. I believe that's going to be South El Monte PD. You can see that door open. These guys ready to pounce. These guys are they are wound up. They want this to come to an end. We see some other vehicles just kind of out here in the roadway. Not sure what that's all about. Perhaps just coincidence. These people want to be backing out and leaving at this time. But he's just kind of making circles now in this mobile home park area. One of the officers was basically set up perhaps to get closer to that vehicle, or maybe to do another spike strip, take out some more tires. Again, though, right now these cars just kind of driving around out there, a little bit wider just so you can see really what's happening out here. It's a small area, very tight, very cramped, not making that turn that he made earlier on. You got these, now he's going to be going down that street that parallels. This is going to be the closest to the San Gabriel River, making that turn. And again, very slow speeds, number of officers out here, sheriffs and South El Monte PD.
Stu, are they trying, a patrol car just nonchalantly passed by him going in the other direction, but it looks like he's coming to an end here. He has hit a dead end with a patrol car here, and he doesn't have any way out.
Yes, he has no way out right now. Officers have their weapons out. We're going to move Sky 9 around as quickly as possible. He's right behind that tree. You can see the officers out there, weapons out. Earlier on, he did put his reverse lights on. Would be a very dangerous move right now. I do see a hand up, which is a very, very good sign. We see two hands up right now, but the officers not taking any chances, actually taking cover behind other vehicles that are now in the area. You can see right there, two hands up. They are giving this guy commands. Possibly it's just going to come to an end as this guy gets out of the vehicle. Sheriff's Department had a vehicle in the area. Don't know if that was his intention to block him in, but the vehicle was in that area. He did have a way out, but he did not take it. He kind of pulled up next to that officer's vehicle. Was very curious to see if he was going to bump into it. He did not. Hands are up right now, and in Riverside and Henry, those are the names of the streets out here, Riverside and Henry, and you can see El Monte PD out here. You got two El Monte officers right there, but they're being joined by the Sheriff's Department that were in pursuit of this vehicle earlier on. Hands are up. I don't know why he hasn't jumped out of that vehicle yet. Perhaps I'm going to try to work with Sky 9 here and see if we can get around a little bit more and see him pop out of the door. But right now, giving commands. This probably is going to be ending here very shortly.
This is really interesting to see because, Elsa, earlier we saw that the pursuit could have come to an end so many different times. And we thought it was going to. We saw the driver going towards some people, and we thought maybe he was slowing down to let perhaps law enforcement catch up with him, but that was certainly not the case. He just slowed down for some people who were watching and the residents out there standing outside. And then we saw the on two different occasions, law enforcement officials deploy the spike strips. And then apparently the first time it looked like nothing was happening, and then we saw the front driver's side tire blow out, and then one of the rear tires blow out, and that's why we've seen the driver for the past 15 minutes or so driving so slowly. And it appears that his hands are out of the vehicle at this point. And,
but that's it.
But that's it at this point. It doesn't look like officers are approaching the vehicle right now, which is interesting as well. I'm sure they're doing everything they can out of an abundance of caution to make sure everyone's safe in the area as well.
Yeah, Stu, I don't know why they are not having this person get out of the vehicle, and it seems really strange. I haven't seen this before where just the hands are sticking out of the window, and it doesn't appear he's even holding them still, and they keep going in and out of the window. I don't know if he's having a conversation with them or trying to negotiate with them, but he's still in that car, and just his hands or a hand at one time or another pops out.
Well, you know, Elsa, Susie, you know, probably one of the things is right now these officers want to do this by the book, and they probably have some sort of protocol. They have some structured way to handle this situation. Obviously, we don't have the benefit of being able to hear what those officers are saying down there right now. Perhaps they're just telling him, hold your hands out of the window, and they're waiting for more backup. But right now, they're just talking to him. And they are trying to get him out of the vehicle. That's what I'm hearing right now. They are trying to get him out of the vehicle.
Yeah, also very curious to see that this is where the pursuit finally came to an end, because we know that this driver could have gotten back onto the freeway, but it ends in this mobile home park. And as you see the Google map to the right side of your screen, this is an actual overhead picture of the where this is coming to an end. And as you can see, the very tight and narrow streets that surround this entire mobile home park, really there was nowhere that this driver was going to go except go in circles, as he was doing all night in the South Monte area anyway. And you see the San Gabriel Valley area, or the San Gabriel River, that butts up right next to this mobile home park. And it looks like the driver is coming out right now with his hands up.
Yep. Coming out with his hands up. I'm sure what it was that they told him, do not get out of the vehicle. They were basically waiting for enough backup, and they wanted to do this by the book. Right now you can see the door did pop open. Now he's following those directions. Officers telling him hands behind the head, walk back over to the officers. You know, they're going to give him several different commands right now, probably tell him they want us to make sure he has no weapons on him. That's a huge concern because they don't know who this guy is. And obviously he did take many chances with many lives this evening, so they are going to do it by the book and make sure this guy not armed, not going to harm himself or these officers. And see the number of officers out here on this small street. We'll push back in as soon as they get close enough, but they have basically taken over this mobile home park as this pursuit has come to an end here. And again, you can see him now getting on his knees. One of the officers, just by the uniforms, I would venture to say those are the sheriffs, are taking him into custody right now. You can see those cuffs going on him. So this is over. It's been a long pursuit, but this suspect in custody now at this mobile home park in South El Monte.
And Stu, fortunately, it appears no one was hurt, law enforcement or the driver himself. Just a quick recap. The original warrant was for speeding. It turned into a pursuit, started as a follow, then turned into a pursuit. This driver led law enforcement through the streets of El Monte for at least 40 minutes or so as he ran stop signs, blew through intersections, and drove on the wrong side of the road.
And 2 spike strips were deployed by law enforcement officials, and it looks like that's what finally got the tires blown out of the car. And eventually the driver was forced to slow down because of that, but it looks like all is coming to an end here in South El Monte tonight.